Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 70. I'm, of course, ShoWTimE VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and, of course, by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos. I know that this weekend has been very intense when it comes to StarCraft, and even right now, I believe Home Story Cup is ongoing, soon to wrap up, might I add, but Home Story Cup has been ongoing throughout the weekend. As a reminder, we typically do cast and do cover Home Story Cup, but not this time, just because we were unavailable. For those who are unaware, I've been unavailable. I've been looking after my pet bunnies. I've been taking care of them, giving them meds, and again, we have just not been available to cover Home Story Cup. We should be doing so though in the coming weeks. In the coming months, we'll be able to find some time to cover those matches and cover those replays, going through the group stage and into the playoffs as well. There's a lot to catch up on. Home Story Cup, Thunderfire, Rongi Cup, Pigstar Cups, WardiTV Mondays. A lot to catch up on, as we have been unfortunately missing out a lot in January, but hey, we're going to be spending February catching up on all those matches, like this event here before you, like this event, again, the WardiTV Monday. First, we're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals. Again, this is a weekly open tournament, weekly open cup, open to all players, all shapes, all sizes, and we often do get a lot of European versus Korean action as a result. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals. It's going to be best of 3 between Lambo and herO. Let's go. Let's jump on in. Game 1 is going to be here on Winter Madness. Similarly to Home Story Cup, typically we would cover this event live. We'd cast WardiTV Mondays live, but that is no longer the case just because of daylight savings. It does begin too late here. It begins, I want to say, like at 11 p.m. my time. Far too late, but here we go. We're jumping into our first series and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. Here we go. Also, bienvenidos, all those in the chat. I see Slow Joe in the chat, so Lensford as well, Laylith, alongside late Chrononauts, Tony, Sinclair. Bienvenidos. Again, hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy the StarCraft ahead. Let's go. Let us go. Once again, it's great to see Lambo competing. Lambo very rarely competes in open cups, so it's a bit of a treat. It's a bit of a treat covering any kind of Zerg competitors in open cups in general here, whether it's someone like Lambo, whether it's a Laser. I think during KSL over the weekend, we got to cast sort of in the quarterfinals, which was a lot of fun. So again, great to see a little bit more Zerg representation in some of these events, and we'll see how Lambo can compare, especially compared to herO. herO, who is arguably the best player in the world at the moment. Again, when it comes to all the big premier tournaments, when it comes to RSL, when it comes to the OSC Season 13 Championship, when it comes to Thunderfire, herO, he has been dominant. He's been the dominant force, at least in the past 2 months, and we'll see if that trend continues here. Bearing in mind that in KSL Classic did bring him down, did bring herO down in set finals. We'll see if we could see something similar here in the WardiTV Monday. Let's go. Let us go. So now we're going to be opening up. I know that for a while Lambo was playing around a lot with Ultra Tech and with rushing into Ultras in this matchup, but that, I want to say, only lasted like a couple of months, like October, November of last year-ish era of StarCraft. Coming into December and January, that has kind of died off. We'll keep an eye on our players, as we're investing quite heavily here into these Lings early on. Okay, we're all in. I was like, what's with all these Lings on the way? I see. Okay, so Ling Flood, a drone pool here out of out of Lambo. herO back at home, rushing into an early Forge. Oh, herO going for his own quirky build. Okay. Bearing in mind, herO hasn't seen this. Here he has not seen, he does not know. He does have his Stalker on the way, bearing in mind that the wall is currently open and the Lambo's coming in for the surround. One way or another, the game is about to end. Can he surround that Stalker? Can he surround the Stalker? Can he dive in? You can see herO's being lured out by the Overlord. Here we go. Yeah, he does dive in. Late reaction. He does get us around. herO tries to get away. He does distract. He does buy a couple of seconds, but remember, no warp gates. If that pylon goes down, that's game. And the pylon is surrounded. Voids are being pulled. Yeah, the pylon will fall. Stalker does race back, but it's too late. Yeah, it's too little too late. Lambo comes in with this round. One Adept does spawn in. Okay. He's got one Adept. Is that enough? No shot. herO with one adept. He's holding Pappy. Again, there's link speed. Yeah, link speed kicks in. The adept does manage to no, it does get away. Okay, does get away. Does reduce surface area. Ooh, does shade back. Shield battery is finishing. Pylon is on the way. No shot. herO holds. That's crazy. The power of one adept. The MVP adept, Pappy. Ay, ay, ay. Saves the adept. Shield battery is done, and the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. Now we have 14 links still in production, so Lambo, he's getting ready for the second wave. The wall is still open, so that second wave could still kill herO. But now there's going to be 2 adepts. Pappy, you saw what you saw what he did with 1 adept. Now he has 2. He's got 2 adepts. That's crazy. You can't beat that, Pappy. Oh no. As you can see, Lambo trying to bypass these adepts, trying to get into the middle line. The boys are pulled. There's 3 links left, down to 2, and here comes that second wave. Now, unfortunately, this time, again, there's multiple depths. This time, there's a greater wall here at the natural. There's better Sim City. We're still not making a 3rd unit, though. We're waiting for warp gates. Uh-oh. Lambo dives in, but there's a shield battery. It is a little bit out of range, true. Battery's out of range. You can see herO making a secondary wall. Yeah, he shades back. He fully walls off. And even if the gateway goes down, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The adepts, they do get past. Sentry does warp in. There's a force field. Oh, we need it, though. Yeah, we need that force field. So we do get another wall behind this link. Oh my god, some of them do flood in, but GG gets called. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and herO takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Ay, ay, ay. herO, he survives the all-in and takes the first game. Very, very impressive. I feel like everything went Lambo's. Like, I feel like the opener and the initial builds, like, Lambo couldn't have asked for better. herO never scouted. herO, he did not scout the all-in that was coming his way. herO, he was lured out into the open with that stalker as well, so he was prone to a surround, and herO lost the pylon. He lost the pylon that was powering his gateway. Like, again, like, that was best case scenario for Lambo, but despite that, herO, he was able to react in time and pull over the stalker and buy a couple of seconds and avoid the surround. He was able to throw down the shield battery, secondary pylon, get that first adept out, and again, that first adept did so much in the end. It was seconds away from not being able to pop out. It wasn't just the adept, to be fair, it was herO's worker micro. Like, the boy pool was excellent. He was able to protect his units, protect his adept, protect his stalker for as long as possible, deal extra damage, and GG. Very haphazard defense out of herO, but a defense nonetheless. And that was crazy. GG. GG, well played. herO takes the lead, and that doesn't bode well for Lambo, I'll be honest. Like, as I mentioned before, I feel like you couldn't have asked for anything better when it comes to that all-in that Lambo went for. So that does kind of take its toll, and it doesn't feel good. Is what I'm getting at. Like, as the aggressing player, if the stars align and the all-in still fails, like, ooh, it's not a good feeling, and it doesn't bode well. And hopefully Lambo's confidence isn't shaken too much as we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of White Rabbits. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the German Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. Here we go. As we're getting into game 2. And after what occurred in game 1, I would imagine that Lamb is going to shift gears. I still imagine he's going to go for an all-in, but a different kind of all-in, right? I would imagine maybe 2-base all-in, 3-base all-in, getting it to a greater economy, getting to the mid-game. We have seen a lot of successful 3-base play. At the same time, herO, he was going for his own build. Do you remember? herO, he went for a Forge first. He didn't get to use it. He didn't get to get into his own planned build in game 1, but he might actually go for that here in game 2. herO showing us that he's willing to get down and dirty and be unorthodox. He was about to show us that in game 1, and that's kind of what he's known for as well. For being a little bit more exploratory, especially in this matchup. herO can be very unpredictable, and I mean, hey, there's a reason why he 3-0'd Serral, like, not too long ago. Like, that's a reason for that, Pappy. Yeah. That was what now, 2 weeks ago? But here we go. herO just being as annoying as possible. Lambo back at home, still just droning, saturating. We'll keep an eye on the larva and the link production. Again, last game we did notice the link production. I was like, he's crazy. he just sent it, pappy. But now though, this time everything's looking normal. Yep, there it is, Forge first. I say Forge first, Forge after the Nexus, after the Cyber Core. So again, this is the same build that herO attempted to go for last game. So we were correct in our assumption that herO, he was going to try to go for a 2-base all-in in game 1. He didn't really get there. This time, he can now actually get into his build and show us what he had planned for game 1. So earlier Forge, earlier +1. This most likely is going to lead into an early +1 timing, and maybe with a charge, or he might go with slow lots. True. This might line up with slow lots instead. We'll see what kind of gases are taken. So in my mind, +1. He is getting the Twilight Council though. Now there are two different paths we can go for. This can be +1 and blink, and we go for like a 6-gate 2-base blink all in with +1. Or this can lead into a Templar Archives into, Twilight Council into Templar Archives into slow lots with +1 with like 2 Archons. Regardless, it should be a 2-base all-in. Overlord Scatter is going to be denied. Now Lambo, seeing the initial Stalker is already a tell. Stalkers this early on are usually unorthodox. If you know anything about ZVP, you'll know that first you get the Adept, then the second Adept, then you move out to Harass, to Scout, to Delay. Getting a Stalker here is already a little bit sinister, and yep, there it is, charge. So +1 in charge, early charge timing, early charge builds. If you've been watching herO over the past 2 months, then you would know, or really past month of play, herO has been very fond of charge-based builds in this matchup. Not necessarily this build, but going to charge nonetheless. Again, that's how he was able to take down several at Thunderfire, was non-stop charge-based builds, and again, catching him off guard. Now, from the side of Lambo, what are we hoping for? We're hoping for a safety Roach Warren, right? A safety Roach Warren. It is very common in ZVP to skip the Roach Warren and go Ling Bane or Ling Hydra, but the meta has been shifting. herO has been abusing that style quite heavily, and we will be needing that early Roach Warren. Otherwise, how do you defend against the mass delts coming your way? The other, and there we go. Okay, so that's going to be a 4:18 Roach Warren timing. It's a decent timing here. It's still going to be very close and very clutch. We need to take an extra gas geyser, and we need to get into those roaches as quickly as possible, bearing in mind that Lambo hasn't seen anything. He doesn't know what's going on. For all he knows, it could be Glaives, right? It could be Glaives. It could be Stargate into Fleet Beacon into like a carrier rush that's banking up.
Our forces are under attack.
So Lambo is still playing blind. But again, thankfully he's playing safe with his Roach Warren. Meanwhile, we assumed that it was going to be with 2 Archons, and we are correct in that assumption. I had assumed that this is going to be hitting with +1 and with slow lots, but no, it's going to be charge lots with +1 and a handful of Archons. A very, very strong timing. There is a 3rd base, but really, this is going to hit insanely hard. Lambo is taking up into a lair, getting a Zero Chamber. I don't see any roaches yet. Lambo is still droning. Go. High Templar have arrived. Let's go to 2 Templar. Insanely fast +2, bearing in mind that Lambo has +0. Archons are now morphing in. And Lambo sees. Yeah, Lambo sees. He knows he needs as many roaches as possible. Ooh, Lambo did make a lot of Overlords actually, but he needs roaches more than anything. Roach production has begun. herO is moving out. And herO doesn't move out. Looks like the roaches will pop out in time. So we got the queens, we got the roaches. Lambo will defend. I say that more zealots are coming. He wants those queens. He does want the queens against 1. 1 queen goes down. The others are getting very low. Archons, they push forward. They get another 2 queens. Not quite. Yeah, barely enough. So 2 queens goes. There we go. 3 queens go down, and herO pulls away. herO pulls away so far. A decent trade out of herO. He pulls back, and remember, he does have that +2 timing available afterwards. Meanwhile, Lambo at this point needs a 4th base just for larva and just pure roach production. Just massing up nothing but roaches. herO to spot the army. Now, Lambo, upon seeing all the herO, upon seeing all these roaches, he should take a defensive stance. And there it is. We have a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. Good reader here out of herO. Lambo wants herO to move into it. Remember, Lambo, his 4th base is late 4th base. He doesn't have much more saturation. Never mind, Lambo going into mutas. Ooh, bold move out of Lambo. So Lambo, he knows about the build, he knows about the opener. Specifically, what does he know? There's no Stargate and there's no blink, right? There's no blink, so anti-air is very limited. Yes, there are a lot of Archons, and that will help in a head-on fight if there are defensive mutas, but harassing mutas have potential to do a lot of damage. Just because the anti-air of herO is very immobile. The downside is that if Lambo does invest too heavily into mutas, is that his roach army is going to suffer. And he would be vulnerable to a push. So there's a really risky, very risky maneuver. Lambo, he has to respect the Zealot run by. So Lambo does race back home. herO pushes forward. A little bit of a messy move out here by herO. Yeah, throws away a couple of Zealots. Rough pathing. And herO, he's about to strike. And Lambo, he's banking resources. Remember, Lambo, he's saving money for mutas. And here comes herO. Lambo is out of position. He was chasing all those Zealots, so Roach is out of position. 4th base goes down. herO pushing further in. And Lambo, can he hold on here? Lambo gets supply blocked. And herO just denies the 4th. Yeah, he denies the 4th base. Oof. No Ravager. Okay, Ravagers are moving in, but still so many Roaches go down. That was what, 8 Roaches falling. And there are still more force fields. Still more force fields. And as we mentioned, these mutas defensively, they can't really do much, not against all those Archons. So Lambo is taking a lot of hits, he's taking a lot of damage. Remember, the soup does lie. Lambo, he's almost maxed out, but Roaches, they are heavily inflated when it comes to their supply. So the army is actually smaller than what it seems. herO has the more efficient composition. Lambo moving in, but remember, we had all those shield batteries from earlier. Oh no, yeah, he's pathing. Yeah, Lambo gets caught. Ay. Yeah, brutal movement, brutal pathing here by Lambo. Oof. He bleeds out so many Roaches. The plummets 30 supply. Mutas they dive into the main, but now there are Phoenixes. Yeah, here he goes for his counterattack. Lambo, he is in danger. As these Roaches, they should not be here. Oh, and that's already a lot of Roaches going down. He's gonna lose everything. Yeah, every Roach is gonna fall. As you mentioned, technically herO is down 70 supply, but it's Roaches. Like, they do, they don't scale well. They don't scale well. Not against this kind of army. Now, thankfully, where's the War Prism? There's no War Prism at all, actually. So, this army is lacking a buffer zone. We need Zealots. We need a warping of a massive amount of Zealots here to protect these Immortals. herO does spot the Roaches. And herO goes for the backstab. And he may have to recall. So he's going to kill this base. Lambo, he does turn around. And herO, I don't think he can take the head-on fight here. No, without his Zealots, he's gonna get out of here. There it is. Okay, there's the recall. He pulls out. These Roaches, they do nothing. Recalls in time. And again, Lambo's been all in for the past, what, 5-6 minutes? He's all in. But he's pushing to 7 Immortals. Ay. Yeah, there are just so many Immortals. They start to step forward. Mutas, they get shut down by the Archons. And the Zealots have finally arrived. Yeah, Zealots have arrived. The Immortals, they just push in and they just bully the Roaches. GG gets called and herO will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Lambo, I want to say initially was in an okay position when he was able to defend his, he didn't defend his fourth base, but when he was able to recognize at an early time it was coming, he made his massive amount of roaches. But again, the longer the game went on, the worse it became for Lambo. I wasn't really in love with the idea of going into mutas. As you mentioned at the time, when he did decide to go into mutas, he was banking 1,500 minerals and I want to say almost 1,000 gas. He was banking a lot of resources to go into these mutas, and that was the moment where he kind of lost the game, where herO was able to distract the army on the left hand side with all of his zealots, push forward, kill the fourth base, and ensure that Lambo could never drone, could never saturate, could never macro out of it, and Lambo was just stuck on a very mid-tier army, a very, very subpar army. As you mentioned, Lambo, technically he was maxed at 200 supply, herO was at 130, but herO was still dominating those fights just because of the quality of the army. He had 7 immortals, Pappy. It was crazy. Crazy. But GG, well played. With that, herO, he does advance on to the semifinals, and with that, we're going to be following him into his next matchup. Let's go into his next matchup. It's going to be a PvP here between herO and ShoWTimE. Let's go. Jumping into our Protoss versus Protoss. Game 1 is going to be on Ruby Rock. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. Here we go. Again, we have our semis, we have our PvP. herO renowned for his PvP, but again, anything can and will happen in these kind of matchups. Bearing in mind that ShoWTimE can be a very aggressive and very chaotic player in this matchup as well. ShoWTimE, sure, he's known for some more macro play in other matchups, like against against Zerg or against Terran, but in PvP, ShoWTimE, he does get down and dirty. Like, he becomes an animal and he can be hyper aggressive. And very often does cheese, does all in. So we'll see how herO can keep up. As our probes, they move out across the map. Probes, they move out. With this, both players will confirm the lack of any kind of proxy, as the second pylon will be thrown down. Yep, there it is. Second pylon for ShoWTimE and second pylon for herO here at the ramp. Bearing in mind that herO, he's been very fond of this as of late. If you recall, we did actually comment on this over the weekend when he played against Classic in that PvP. But herO, he has been going more and more often for this in-base Warlock, or this in-base kind of production setup, where he's got his 2-gate opener, but it's next to his gas geyser. Once again, to reiterate, technically this is more efficient than ShoWTimE's build, technically, but there are some downsides as well. So the pros, the upside of this is that it takes less time for your worker to go back to mining. So your gateways, your pylon, your cyber core, it's all closer to your mineral patches, so you can just go back to mining almost immediately, whereas there's more time and more distance here for ShoWTimE. But the other upside, of course, is that if ShoWTimE went for an all-in, the production is safe. If this was a proxy robo one base all-in, the Immortals, they typically do push up the ramp and they typically do focus down the first 2 gateways, but here with this kind of setup, your production is safer. True, your production is safer. The downside, of course, is that you have to invest more into a wall-off. It means that Adepts can get more damage done. So Adept Shades can be very annoying, they can be very frustrating. herO going for a Stargate into Expand. So 2-gate opener into a Stargate. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE going straight for his own Nexus. He's built up his Stalkers. Opted not to go into Adepts. If you remember, Estrella, especially a couple of years ago when he was competing on a regular basis, Estrella was also very fond of this kind of build and this kind of style. ShoWTimE is going for his own proxy pylon to reinforce. He's moving out. He does have that Stalker advantage. Nice hallucination. Can he tank some of those shots? He's hoping to. Sentry taking a lot of hits. Oh, Sentry goes down. Takes down the Sentry. Hallucinations do end up tanking. And here is holding. I mean, again, he's got a shield battery. Force field locks down 2 of the Stalkers. Okay, he gets 2. 1, 2 Stalkers go down. Very nice damage. ShoWTimE he reinforces with that proxy pylon. And here is getting bullied. Once again, nice force field locking down the Sentry. Locking down all the probes. At the same time, the Oracle did try to poke in. ShoWTimE he's ready with the shield battery. So limited losses. Losing only 2. Losing only 2 probes. Meanwhile, 7 probes go down for herO. Stalker's falling as well. Does he have a force field? Up, barely not. Barely does. Misplaced. Yeah, a little bit misplaced there. Was not able to block off the Stalkers. But still a better fight for ShoWTimE. Still a better engage. He's still warping in. Well, second Oracle has arrived. Gets into the main. Remember, 2 Oracles, a one-shot. Yeah, the shield battery does not do enough. That's going to be 5 probe kills. 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 probes go down. Does snipe one of the Oracles. And we're getting messy. We're getting messy here. Initially, ShoWTimE did an amazing amount of damage here at the natural. That is true, but herO, he has reciprocated, and herO actually takes the lead. herO, he's now got 31 probes to the 28 of ShoWTimE. What does ShoWTimE have over herO? Blink. Blink is on the way to being chronoed as we speak. Remember, why does herO not have Blink? The Stargate. He went for the Stargate, went for the Oracles. He just lost 2 Oracles himself. So herO, he does have a weaker army, and there's going to be a big power spike when Blink kicks in. So ShoWTimE is building up towards that Blink timing. You can see herO getting ready for some harass. He's got 2 adepts on the left. He's got another Oracle here on the right. And ideally, herO wants to wait for ShoWTimE to move out. And if he can do so, he can buy more time. Right? Because it'll force ShoWTimE to turn back around. herO, oh no! He goes too far in. Yeah, he goes too far in. I thought it was going in for a revelation. Oof. So big waste there for herO. Oracle goes down. herO, yep, he's desperate. Went behind a Dark Shrine. He's going for the Dark Shrine. The Adepts, they get spotted. Misses the Shade. Gets 1, gets 2. Getting up to 3. Barely 3 probes. And now it's go time. Right now it's go time. There's no Oracle to keep ShoWTimE busy. There's no Adepts. He's rallying everything across the map. Dark Shrine is still not even halfway done. And technically, ShoWTimE, he has no detection. Remember, there's no Robo. There's no Robo, there's no Stargate. 0 detection for ShoWTimE. DTs could work, but they're not ready yet. Yeah, they're not ready. herO, once again, trying to go for the backstab. Adepts are moving out. He's throwing down shield batteries. He's got 3, 4 shield batteries set up. And herO, can he hold? Ooh, a bit of miscontrol. Yeah, ShoWTimE, he does slip up a little bit, distracted by the Adepts. Again, with 4 batteries, herO is holding. And if he can survive until DTs... Oh, but he has no proxy. Yeah, he has no proxy. The Dark Shrine is now done. herO, he does hold. He holds, he defends. Oh, he bullies these Stalkers. Yeah, the blink control is just not there. And the DC's warp in. And again, imagine if there was a proxy, if there was a pylon out on the map, then this could be doing damage already, but now there's an observer on the way. ShoWTimE got the Robo. He's getting his observer, and this DT will not get any... Oh, it shouldn't get much damage done. Had potential. Had potential. But it does hit too late. That's captured by ShoWTimE. Kills 1 Dark Templar. Remember, herO still does not have Blink. As the DT once again doesn't really get much damage. But hero's holding on. Oh, and does get some extra shots off. So hero's setting up his third base behind this, going into going into Shadow Stride. At this point he's just skipping Blink. He's skipping Blink, going straight into charge. So skipping tech. Building up into Mass Zealots, into eventually Archons. Ooh, as hero he tries to engage. Charge just not finishing. Nice pickups. Takes over the ramp. Hero's gonna keep pushing. Bold move. And maybe overextending for a moment. Pulls away at the same time. DT does hit the mineral line. Actually finding some damage this time. 5 probes. Okay. Finally some damage. Again, ShoWTimE was distracted. And that momentum that ShoWTimE once had isn't really there anymore. Sure, he still has Blink Stalkers, but hasn't really achieved too much with it. Gets 1 probe. It's 1 probe, but pulls away. Cancels the pylon. Hero technically is massing up a superior army in a head-on fight. Again, Mass Zealot does out-trade against Stalkers. If they don't have Blink. Ooh. I believe that one. Late Blink there from ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE's going to calm down. And thankfully he does have his Temple Archives. The Archives just now finished, and we should be seeing some Archons morphed in soon. That's going to be the counter to the Mass Zealot. It's going to be those Archons. Oh. ShoWTimE has to back off. DTs, they try to slip in. No High Templar yet. Yeah, Temple Archives is complete. There we go. Here come the first set of Temple. Oh no, he's supplied. Oh god. Brutal supply look for ShoWTimE, so no Archons are going to be a little bit delayed. Thankfully, hero isn't pushing. Thankfully. As hero's just calming down, slowly building up. He morphs in his own Archons from his Dark Templar. And who do we favor in a head-on fight? Well, ShoWTimE will have a stronger timing eventually with +2, right? +2 is halfway done. Here he has not begun. +2 himself. Not begun. When it comes to the army sizes here, Hero has a slight Zealot lead. Hero has Immortals. And Hero has a slight Archon lead as well. It all comes down to the engage. He kites back to his Archons. Ooh, Stalkers, they blink forward. And it's going to be 2 Stalkers going down. ShoWTimE is going to calm down, but does have to calm down. So the armies, they bounce off each other. Again, here he's still kind of banking on that higher immortal count. Getting tense. So when it comes to the main engage, ShoWTimE's army is more mobile. He does have a higher Stalker count, so he has more Blink Stalkers. He can kind of poke in and try to snipe some high-tech units. Meanwhile, we do see Hero with a higher Immortal and Archon count, so in a head-on fight, I do kind of favor Hero that much more, but it also does depend on the main engagement here, because Hero, he has no Zealots. They're all across the map. He has no buffer. And here he's about to get caught out. Ooh, he's getting caught out. Big engage here from ShoWTimE. He blinks in and he gets 1. He gets 2. He's going to get everything. Yeah, so Hero caught completely with his pants down. The pants are down, papi. And everything falls. And that's going to be game. Hero sure he goes for a Zealot run by, but there's a recall back home. And Hero, he lost everything. The Prism goes down. The Warpin is denied. And again, Hero, who's just playing with fire, he should not have been out here in the open. He lost everything. Dark Templar, sure, they're causing a distraction, but you can see just here a plummet in supply. Again, he lost all of his Archons, he lost all of his Immortals. That was what? That was 4 Archons and 3 Immortals. And that's not coming back. Like, you're not coming back from that. Like, no shot. No shot. See here going for 2 run buys at the same time. He's hoping to try to buy some time. And ShoWTimE is just going for the kill. He's going for the kill, going for the throats. Takes out the 4th, can keep pushing into the 3rd. Bearing in mind that recall is on cooldown for both players, actually. Recall's on cooldown. ShoWTimE, we gotta commit. As Hero's best chance is going for the base trade. Some more bases are going down. And again, here he does break the 3rd. Does break the 3rd base. And ShoWTimE turns around. Okay, he's turning around, he's racing back home. Again, in a head-on fight, ShoWTimE will win. Recall is still on cooldown. That's a lot of Dark Templar. Uh-oh. Where are the observers? Okay, there we go. Observers, they peel off. Observers do defend. And here he's just helping some Copium at this point. He's got a couple of Stalkers. His goal is probably to kill the Observer, but GG gets called, and ShoWTimE, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE does take a lead in the series. Again, herO, he was holding his own, and we did have a back and forth. Things were getting chaotic. Probes were going down. ShoWTimE had a lead early on, then he lost that lead. herO did bounce back, and again, towards that deciding moment, things could have gone either way, but herO did decide to move out. He moved out with his main army, and as we were trying to emphasize, herO's main army was vulnerable because all of his zealots were going for a run by. He was going for a massive zealot run by, so he had no buffer, he had no support, he was kind of naked out in the center of the map, and he got caught out by ShoWTimE. GG, well played. ShoWTimE takes a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Sometimes one fight is all it takes, especially when you're so heavily reliant on these high-tech units like Archons, like Immortals. And with that, we're getting into game 2. Getting into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Team T1. Down in the series, it is a herO. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, the German Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. Here we go. Whew. As we are going to be setting up. Monday already? Yeah, it is Monday here. It's Monday. It's almost midday. We're 12 hours into Monday, Pat. Aye, aye, aye. As this time here, it goes for a much more standard setup. So once again, 2-gate open out of ShoWTimE, 2-gate open out of herO. This time herO does have his wall off ready. So he's walling up that ramp. We're settling in. And again, game 1 was very chaotic. We had ShoWTimE initially being aggressive, being assertive. herO, he survived that aggression, he defended well. As we were emphasizing, unfortunately the initial DTs didn't really do much damage, as herO, he had no way to reinforce across the map. There was no War Prism, there was no Proxy Pylon. So ShoWTimE was able to keep up with the DTs, and the game did stabilize eventually, but came down to that one big fight. Big catch. But now double stalker out of ShoWTimE, double stalker out of herO. So far mirrored builds. You can also see that no one is going for a proxy. We have 2 pylons in the main base for ShoWTimE and 2 pylons in the main for herO. So no proxy, no shenanigans, not yet. Last game, herO went for a Stargate before expanding. This time, he's going for the faster... Oh, gonna be pylon blocked, okay. Would you have the pylon block? But herO should deal with this. Oh, he ignores the pylon. Okay, bold move. Do we let it finish? Does finish. Okay, pylon does complete. herO moves out with his stalkers. Meanwhile, heroes was cancelled. And ShoWTimE can expand. And there it is. Faster base for ShoWTimE. Ooh, and hero's base is going to be heavily delayed. herO going for a robo before expanding. And herO, he can choose. Does he go for another gateway? Does herO turn this into a one base all in? Yep, there it is. Gateway. So 3 gates set up, 1 base all in out of herO. I don't believe this was the plan, but because ShoWTimE let the pylon finish, herO was forced into this. Because herO couldn't expand himself. He couldn't expand, he couldn't take his natural. So 1 base all in here from herO, and ShoWTimE has to deal with kind of the bed that he's made. Or he's got to sleep in the bed that he's made. There you go. As ShoWTimE, he has yet to scout, yet to confirm. ShoWTimE doesn't know what's going on, but does have a safety shield battery. And ShoWTimE should be fine. Yeah, he's fine. He just bullies back the army. Locks down one of the stalkers. Oh, tries to at least. And pulls back to the shield battery. Here, stalkers are getting very low. They're getting low. Trading 1-to-1. Catching out another stalker. 2 stalkers, 3 stalkers go down. Catching out 3 stalkers. And again, ShoWTimE so far looking better. He still is not fully aware of how committed herO is. Sorry, ShoWTimE is getting a second shield battery, second pylon. Getting ready to the main base for any kind of war prism. Remember, herO is all in. And here he has a massive amount of stalkers. 10 stalkers! Oh my god. It does try to go for the dive. Force fields, they will delay. That's a lot of stalkers with wasted DPS. And hero's holding. Sorry, ShoWTimE's holding. So far, he is holding on. herO going for another wave. ShoWTimE, he has no defensive robo. He has no immortals. These stalkers are getting very low, and that's going to be 4 stalkers going down. Oh my god. Yeah, hero's losing too much. hero's losing far too much here. Yeah, the Prism Micro is not good enough, losing even more stalkers. He's what, down to 6? 6 stalkers left. Oh my god. Losing another, and ShoWTimE he's holding without immortals, by the way. Very impressive defense. No. Yeah, 0 miscontrols. He misrallies, losing another stalker. There's the recall back home. And recalls just in time. Oh, he wants that prism. Oh my god. Can he get it? What a mess. One more volley. Oh, he gets the prism. And that's going to be it. That's going to be game. There's nothing left. Remember, herO, he has no expansion. He has no base. ShoWTimE, he's mining. He's saturating his own natural. GG gets called. And ShoWTimE will take the series 2-0, knocking herO out of the tournament. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he will claim the series. He will knock herO out. Again, herO, when it came to the all-in, as a reminder, he was forced into the all-in. herO did not want to. He wanted to expand. That's why he had no proxy. That's why his robo was delayed. But because of that pylon herO, he was forced into going for the all-in instead. So delayed all in there by herO. ShoWTimE had a very nice defensive setup, really impressive force fields, and again, even without his own defensive robo, without any defensive immortals, he still held on and still outtraded herO. We saw a little bit of miscontrol by herO as well when it came to his War Prism Micro. True, did have some miscontrol, did bleed out some stalkers, and as he bled out some stalkers, things were getting better and better for ShoWTimE. GG, well played. Whew. As ShoWTimE does claim the series, does advance on to the grand finals, and with that, who's up next? Who is up next? We have our next semifinals match ready here. It's going to be a best of 3 between Bunny and Harstem. Let's go. Let us go. As a reminder, I believe this was played during the week when players were they traveling from Thunderfire? I can't quite recall. But Clem, I don't think was a part of this. I think MaxFax went down early. I think he went down in the PvP. So instead, we have an unlikely duo here of Bunny and Harstem in the semis. I'll be honest, I don't know if Bunny and Harstem have ever made it this far in said tournaments. Again, typically when it comes to the top players in the WardiTV Mondays, we have players like herO, Cure, Clem, for example, Solar, Shin, MaxPack, ShoWTimE. Those are kind of like the regulars. Björn, those are the regulars that we expect. So Bunny and Harstem is an interesting pairing, but I mean, hey, even more so than that, herO's out, so we won't have kind of like our regular champions. Typically here, it's like either herO or Clem or MaxPack. Like those are the three that kind of like shift gears or kind of like trade crowns when it comes to WardiTV Mondays. Not this time though. Not this time, as they're all out. They are all out. But here we go. For now, we're going to be cutting to a very short break. Cutting to a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the upper semis. We'll see you soon with Bunny and Harstem. See you soon. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 70, your weekly dose of WardiTV StarCraft. Let's go. Let us go. We're here. We are back, and we just wrapped up with our lower semifinals match. herO just looked down ShoWTimE. Sorry, ShoWTimE just looked down herO, I should say. So I'm just used to the opposite being the case. But ShoWTimE, he puffed off. He 2-0'd herO to advance on to the grand finals, and we are here to determine who will face off against ShoWTimE. Will it be Bunny? Will it be Harstem? Let's go. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Title Citadel. And again, as I mentioned before, Bunny and Harstem are a rare sight this deep in the tournament, so I'm very excited to see how they compare and how they face off against each other. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss himself in the land of the Netherlands, representing Shopify. It is Harstem. Here we go. We are here, we are back, we have our TVP, and historically Harstem has been very, Bunny has been very aggressive, right? Historically, Bunny has been very aggressive, very assertive. We've seen a lot of 2-base all-ins out of Bunny, at least in the previous patch, in the previous season, but now in current era and current StarCraft, all-ins are less common, they're less effective, depending on the map though. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a much smaller map of the map pool, sorry, not Ruby Rock, Title Citadel. Title Citadel is a bit of an unorthodox map actually. What's interesting about this map is the gold base. It does mean that we have seen many a time, if Protoss players can gain map control, if they can slow the game down and take this gold base, they can just snowball out of control. That's why it's typically on the Terran player to end the game earlier than that, to make sure that the Protoss never gains access to set gold. Double gas opener. Bunny is already going for a tech heavy start, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC. Technically this can lead into a 1-base all-in, but I don't really think that Bunny is one to embrace that, as he is going to be going for reactor first. Interesting. So reactor first into factory, eyes are going to be on Bunny. Typically when I think of 1-base all-ins, I think of Ryung, I think of Gumiho, I think of Oliveira before he retired. It's a little bit rarer to see some of the others embrace that. But eyes are on Bunny. Eyes are on our Terran. It's going to be up to ShoWTimE, sorry, it's going to be up to Harstem to scan to confirm. That's how it's early, basically. We'll make it, we'll make it. Meanwhile, speaking on, Bunny's style and what we've seen a lot from him in this matchup, which is a lot of aggressive builds and aggressive play and all-ins, Harstem I'm a little bit less familiar with, to be honest. Harstem, he doesn't really compete in many tournaments, and as I mentioned before, he often doesn't make it into the semi, so we don't really get to cover him too much, so I'm curious to see how he does play. I think one of my favorite things about Harstem is that he often does come up with his own builds, or he does kind of prefer his own style, even if there's like a meta way of playing. Like Harstem, he's a little bit more exploratory in his own way, in PvT and PvZ. So for now we have a Twilight Council opener, goes in for the scouts, confirms a reactor at least, I believe. Yeah, it did scout the reactor. And it is going to be Reactor Reaper Hellion. So a very aggressive start here from Bunny. The goal here is to bust into a mineral line and to get economic damage. It's going to be up to Harstem to wall up this natural. And he does have a safety shield battery here at the natural. He has no battery in the main base. His SimCity is mainly in the main. And his natural is very open. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned. Harstem does poke in, hoping to delay the CC. And he will be able to. Kills one SCV. Shouldn't get the other. Bunny's moving in. Remember, the goal here is to bust into the mineral line. The wall is open. Yeah, the wall is open. KDA charge going further into the main, not the natural. Bold move. And how many probes did he get? 1, 2, 3, up to 4 probe kills so far. Can he get 5? Can he get 6? It's going to be 5, 6, 7. Oh, this is getting out of hand. It's getting a little bit out of hand here, but lack of unit control here from Bunny, the lack of targeting. Does get surrounded. 7 probes. 7 probes go down. Hellions, they do bust in towards the natural, but they do pull away. This could have been worse. This could have been a lot worse here, so 7 probes do fall. This is still rough for Harstem. Still not the best start, but he holds. Does hold, does survive. How many gateways does Harstem have? He has one gateway here at the natural. It's one in the, ooh, one in the main. Oh no. Buddy, please GG. I need a new PC. It looks like there were maybe some latency issues there. Feels body, man. But Harstem has really low gateway count, so he can't really counterattack. He has a bit of a presence here. He has some pressure, but shouldn't really achieve too much. Yeah, bunker is done. Bunker is done. Bunny defends. Ooh. This is what mines they hit the natural. Bunny even saving the mines. Does will back, does save them. Interesting. So typically when you do open up like this and you go for the woodmine drop, it is very common to follow this up with, say, a Raven to go into the tech lab, into Raven production, just to harass. But here we have an earlier add-on swap going into earlier stim instead. So much faster stim here for Bunny. Building up his tanks. So it looks like Bunny's struggling a little bit here. Like, I would imagine what's happening is that there may be some inputs that just aren't registering. Or just latency issues. Ah. Bunny. Por favor. Post this Bunny to cheer for Bunny. Did you just rhyme Bunny with Bunny? God damn it. Este sin scar. You're a real rapper. Just rhyme the same word with the same word. Let's go. Let's go. This Bunny, he's breaking out. Remember, Stim is finishing up in a couple of seconds. It's ready. Stim is ready, and it's going to be on Harstem to slow this down. Behind this, Harstem is working towards Storm. He's still being kept busy here by the Widowmine drop. Does get the Widowmines. No, he does not. Uh-oh. Widowmine bars. The other mine does get into the main. Ooh. Does not load in time. And here comes the main army. Again, at Harstem, he was distracted. Bunny's moving in. Boosting forward. Sieging up within range of the Nexus. And he's going to force Harstem's hand. He's going to force him. Harstem is holding on to 2 storms. And Harstem, he has to commit. Diving in, he gets 1 tank. Okay, 1 tank goes down. Ooh, there's the 1 storm. He's got 1 more. He's got 1 more storm. Nice spread here by Bunny. He spreads well. He commits in, and Bunny breaks through. Yeah, Bunny has broken Harstem. As we have some slow warp-ins. It's still quite close. Still very close. And Widowmines are burrowing. More Stalkers have arrived. And Harstem holds. Ooh, okay. Harstem, he does barely hold on. Again, Bunny, he was so close to breaking this position. I mean, that would have been game. To be fair, that would have been game then and there. But Harstem survives. And Bunny forced to expand. I mean, he already had a 3rd CC on the way. He was not all in. Bunny takes his 3rd. And the game will continue. Okay. We have a game. We have a game. We have some StarCraft. As Harstem is moving out. This does feel a little bit premature here as Harstem is lacking Zealots. He's lacking Zealot support. Okay, there we go. The Prism has arrived. Zealots as well. Both armies, they split each other. Bunny sees Harstem via the Zelnaga Tower. Harstem sees Bunny via the Observer. Bunny pulls away. This does reveal that there's an observer in position. Bunny now knows. Scans, sees the observer. Go say lead the charge. They've got the EMPs. Marshall popping up. Nice EMP. Gets one. Catches one High Templar. Baits out a storm. There's one storm left. Uh-oh. As Harstem is containing, he expands. He's getting his fourth. His fourth base is getting up. Still very tense. Now there are two High Templar hidden in the Warp Prism. They just recently warped in. But they're safe. Harstem trying to rotate up the ramp. And once again, it's all about containing Bunny and expanding. As Harstem gets his fourth up, and now he's getting a fifth. I would typically expect to see, instead of a fifth base here, to go for the gold, right? To go for the gold base instead. But Harstem not feeling too confident. Instead, he does rotate up the ramp. Makes his way in. He's also making the way into the mineral line. Nice storm on the Bio Army. Very nice storm. Ooh, but Bunny does snipe the High Templar. Actually not. Never mind. High Templar survives. Harstem still has a storm. Ooh, EMP lands. Yeah, the EMP does land, and Bunny, he holds. He holds, he shuts us down. Another storm connecting. Ooh, Prism falls to the Vikings. There's still one more storm. Yeah, the final storm, and Bunny, he's spreading well, but he might not have enough. Oh my god. Yeah, Widow Mine barely connects. Another Mine Shot goes off. Reinforcements arrive, and Harstem, big overextension. Harstem will lose everything. The High Templar, the Archons, the Immortal as well. Initially, it wasn't a bad fight, but again, Harstem just stuck around too long. He will lose the entirety here of the army. And that was brutal. Harstem, he lost what? He lost 5 Archons. 5 Archons, 2 Immortals, or the High Templar, the War Prism as well. Harstem, he plummets in supply. What does he have left? 1 High Templar. He has 1 Templar, 1 Archon. We have Immortals that are being produced 2 at a time. Bunny has momentum. Oh. Looks like Bunny lagged out. And again, Bunny's been having a lot of latency issues. Este Bunny. And again, my big concern here, and we spoke about it earlier about Harstem's lack of confidence. Harstem, he does save his 5th base, but imagine if this base was the gold, right? If he had taken the gold behind this, then Harstem would have that boosted economy. He opted not to expand in this direction. As a result, Bunny actually is keeping up. Bunny's getting his 4th. You can actually argue that Bunny has the better economy. Has the better economy here. As an Immortal goes down, massive pickup. It's a very heavy Zealot composition. There are currently 2 Templar. These are the only 2. There's no War Prism, so there's no way to save them or protect them from EMPs. We see Harstem getting ready for a Zealot run-by. Speaking of, this does distract, but Bunny is about to max. He's about to max out. Now, when it comes to Bunny's composition, he hasn't perfected his army yet. He has no Liberators. There's no Fusion Core, there's no Liberator production, so it's a much more mobile and a bit of a more fragile composition instead. It's very Marine heavy. As the armies are clashing, Harstem is getting ready for his run-by. He's getting ready for his counterattack. He does catch the army. Harstem moves in. Quick repair here in the planetary. Nice storm. Ooh. Nice storm on the mineral line, catching out 9 SCVs, even more. Oh my god! 17 SCVs go down. Yeah, massive pickup here. Very nice storms. Bonnie's still pushing in. As Harstem attempts a sick. Sick base is denied. Harstem going in once again. Zell's getting pulled out. Harstem going for another run by. This time there's a bunker in position. Bonnie, he deflects. Bonnie defends against everything. He now focus on the main push. I also did notice something that we should bring up is that Harstem chose not to go into Colossus. It's very common to go Storm plus Colossus, to go for both, to have some multiple forms of splash damage. Because there are no Colossus, then Bunny does not have to invest into Vikings. Like typically you do have a higher Viking count, so you have to invest a little bit harder into that. Bunny instead can focus mainly in his anti-ground composition instead, as there's no risk, there's no danger of Colossi. So we're lacking a lot of splash damage for Harstem. Instead, he went for a very heavy immortal composition. Jesus, how many immortals does he have? 8? Getting up to 9 immortals. So I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced here. We can get into it, but if you remember, I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, where Trigger and Max Pax, they were playing around with Mass Immortal. This was when the Disruptor was initially nerfed. If you remember, this was like around a year ago. A year and a half? The years they blend together. But when the first nerf happened, which it was the supply nerf, but also like the fact that they do less damage and they don't one-shot Marauders. When that occurred, Max, Trigger, and a bunch of the other Protoss players were messing around with Mass Immortal like this instead of going Disruptor. But that didn't last long, I'll be honest. They played around with it for a couple of months. Like 2 or 3 months. As this was meant to be an alternative to Disruptor. As now we have the Bay on the way, and now Harstem is working in that direction, towards Colossus, towards Disruptors. Liberators are now on the way. And bases are going down. Harstem, he has to commit. She also storms. There's one. Again, Bunny, he can afford to lose this. Planetary taking a lot of hits. Bunny pulls away. Very nice EMP. There's one storm left. And one storm remaining. And again, the main army is still just not being stopped. Getting on top of the robos. Both robos will go down. And Harstem is just being torn apart. He's being torn apart. He cannot defend and attack at the same time. Now he's got nothing but immortals. A nice storm. Jesus. Yeah, the storm is nice with the bio army. We just stim in. He just stims and he wins, takes out every single immortal. 9 immortals go down, and Harstem has nothing. Harstem, he has nothing left. Oh, good. The value storm. The value storms. And this does kind of validate what we said at the start of the series. If you remember, we started this game and I was talking about how Harstem does often play like his own builds and his own styles out of the meta. He does so against Zerg, he does so against Terran as well. And this is an example of this. Like going for this really heavy immortal style is very old school. It's very like 2023, 2024. Or again, whenever that patch hit. It's not something you see from players like Classic or herO or Max Pax like in current era. Yeah, it has its place. It's a little bit more niche, and as you can see here, like it doesn't really scale too well into a longer game. I'm pretty sure the goal is to end the game earlier, of course. Bunny does commit in. And again, EMPs land and no storms. Just pure zealot. Just mass gateway, man. Back with a swarm toss. Does also all go down. GG gets called, and Bunny takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Bunny. He does take a lead in the series. Again, a really interesting style here from Harstem. Again, it's a bit of an older school composition, as we mentioned before. Just to go a little bit further into it, if you remember, again, God, the patches kind of blend together, the years blend together. But like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was a patch that did affect the disruptor, and disruptors became less useful and less effective in TvP. And when that happened, I remember Max was being really vocal about that, how he felt like disruptors were useless now, and he was going into a really heavy immortal style. And other Protoss players, they followed suit for a while, and then eventually they just went back into like Colossus Disruptor Storm. Like they eventually kind of went back to it, and they admitted that it was a bit of an overreaction how they reacted and how they responded to the initial nerfs of the disruptor. But for a while they were playing with like this mass immortal composition, and then they stopped. They kind of moved away from that, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen a heavy reliance on this. And as we mentioned, it does kind of have its place here. As I mentioned, it doesn't really scale too well into a longer and later game. Unfortunately, Bunny was because Bunny didn't have to make any Vikings, he had a really heavy marine and bio composition, which is amazing, which is beautiful against mass immortal, right? There's no Colossus, there's no consistent splash damage, so Bunny just had the better composition. He just was outscaling Harstem. I do see in the chat someone mentioning about how, oh, there's no Liberator, so this is okay. Not really. Sure, there are no Libs, but as I mentioned, there's no splash damage, right? There's only Storms. So if the EMPs were landing, and they were landing, there was no real threat to the mass bio, to the mass marine composition that Bunny was also relying on. So, GG. GG, well played. With that, Bunny takes the lead, and now we're loading into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. So yeah, a bit of an unorthodox TvP. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran himself. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Falcons, leading the series 1-0. It is a Bunny. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, from the land of the Netherlands, representing Shopify. It is Harstem. Here we go. Here we go. And again, that last game was quite tense. It was quite tense, especially early on. If you remember, I feel like a lot of it came down to Harstem's push when he did wedge himself in between the bases, when he was getting his 4th base. That was the moment where Harstem overextended, and when he lost all of the Immortals and Archons that he had built up over time. It was, what, 5 Archons and 3 Immortals at the time? So he lost momentum. That allowed Bunny to counterattack, and Bunny took his lead. Right? Took his lead. Held onto it. But now we're loading into a very different map. Welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a much smaller map of the map pool. Smaller map, shorter rush distance by ground. Bunny opening up with the eBay block, but Harstem is quick to scout, and Harstem can pull the boys. Oh, he's not. Okay, interesting. So Harstem's going to be forced to expand elsewhere. No, now he pulls the boys, but this is late. Yeah, very late boy pool. Again, there's just so much progression on this eBay. Like, this is worse for Harstem. This is not worth it. So what I was getting at, when Harstem, when he first saw that eBay, that is when you have to pull the boys. If you wait too long, then there's too much HP, there's too much progression here, and you can see Harstem is banking. You can see he's banking resources. Because he had a late reaction, it is typically worth it to just instead expand elsewhere. But yeah, it's just a really awkward position here for Harstem. Bunny having a nice start. Behind this, going for his own factory follow-up. And from here, he can add on swap. Okay, there's a cancel. Does cancel in time, and now we have the Nexus. And we'll see if he add-on swaps into Reactored Hellion. Yep, there it is. So Reactored Hellion at a Bunny. So basically, what's going to be happening here is that Bunny is looking for economic damage. He can reactor out and get up to 4, up to 6 Hellions, rush across the map, and bust into any of these mineral lines. Oh boy. We'll see if Harstem can keep up. See if he can keep up. as Bunny is going to be delaying his starport, so a very aggressive follow-up. So it's reacted Hellion into his second rack. So late starport out of Bunny. Why is the starport late? Typically because Bunny wants to rush into stim. He wants to rush into stim, get into a heavy bio composition, and go for a strong stim timing in the mid game. Hellions are revealed. Oh, Harstem, he does take down one of the Hellions though. Not bad. And, oh, we're not going into additional Hellions. Okay, so Bunny is not going for early economic damage. Bunny goes for the add-on slop, and we did mention, we did speak on Stim, and he does really want those Marines. So reactoring out Marines. Going for the safety Cyclone. Third racks as well, still no starport. And there's the Tech Lab. There is that Tech Lab, so a very, very aggressive follow-up here by Bunny. Now, what has Harstem seen? He did see the second racks. Okay, so he's somewhat aware of what's going on. He's seen at least the second racks. We do have extra gateways on the way. I do appreciate this. We're going up to 3 gateways. So 3 gate blink is a very safe follow-up here by Harstem. It's meant to be safe. Of course, Harstem has had a shakier early game. That is true. He's had a shakier early game. And we'll see if he can keep up with the move outs. There's a high chance that Bunny will pull the boys. He may pull the boys with this. Stim is on the way. He's getting his first tank. Now getting his second. And I would imagine that this will hit with 2 or maybe even 3 tanks. And then you just pull the boys and you just send it. And Harstem still only has a piece of the puzzle. Seeing the second racks is not good enough. So Harstem is in trouble. He does have the Observer. Observer is moving out across the map. This will eventually confirm what's going on. But is this going to happen too late? That's my concern here. Observer is moving out. So you can see Harstem going for the Bay before expanding. So again, a very 2-base heavy play here by Harstem. But that means that he will not have... Wait, did he skip his Twilight Council? No. He's gonna be skipping charge. Gonna be skipping charge. Colossus will be later, and Bunny, Stim is gonna finish. Ooh, baits the army in, gets a shot off. Stim is about to finish. No starport, no third CC, and no more CVs. Yeah, he's all in. So 2 base all in here by Bunny. He commits the Observer, just now gonna confirm, and the boys are being pulled. Here it comes. And Harstem, he confirms as the all in is happening. So late scout, late reaction here by Harstem. Disruptors on the way. He's now throwing down shield batteries. Ooh, bleeding out 1, bleeding out 2, 3. Oh god, 3 stalkers go down. Yeah, brutal moment there for Harstem. Late blinks. But he's coming. He's coming back. As he's slowly sieging forward, the first disruptor will arrive, and that shot has to connect. He has to make it count. It connects with the tank. Tank does take a lot of hits, but mash repair. Wow, mash repair on the tank. The boys, they're here. And he's getting within range of the robo. He's getting within range. More pressure on Harstem. As Harstem's being bullied back. Never goes off. Ooh, does take down 5 Marines. Not bad. The Marines are getting very, very low. But the robo will fall. It takes down the robo. More bunkers are on the way. This is the downside of this all-in, is no medevacs. Remember, there's no starport. No starport, no medevacs. So every stim is killing these Marines. They're very, very low. Harstem trying to catch reinforcements. Nova goes off. No major connections. Harstem does catch 3 Marines. 3 Marines go down. But there are 5 tanks. That is insane. Harstem, he cannot fight this. He has to set up a surround. Like, it has to be a surround. That's the only way. There it goes off. Grazing the army. Now, because there are 5 tanks and now there are 4 bunkers, Harstem can't engage anymore. Like, he cannot blink into this. The goal earlier would have been to blink in, but not anymore. Harstem instead, he has to counterattack. Tanks are sieged. Harstem is now working towards charge. As we mentioned before, he chose to delay charge and go into his bay instead, which was not ideal against this. Harstem, he's expanding in the face of the all-in. He's crazy. As tanks now within the range of the Nexus. And now they're within range. Harstem tries to poke in. Tanks do punish. And here come the reinforcements. And again, Harstem is going to have to pull the boys as well. But even then, I don't see him breaking all these bunkers. Who surrounds who? Harstem is about to be flanked. Yeah, Harstem is getting flanked. The Zealots, they try to come in from behind. They collapse on the bunkers. Stalkers, they blink in. He gets one. He gets one. He gets two. He's getting up to 3 tanks. 3 tanks go down, but the bunkers, they stand strong. Reinforcements have arrived. Oh! Decent Nova. Nova goes off. We're down to 4 Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. Down to 4. There's still a bunker on the front lines. Mass repair. And Bunny's still pushing forward. He's still pushing forward. Still moving in. As Zealots try to engage, they will get 1 tank. Nice friendly fire. It's still close. Duh. It would have been close if we didn't get reinforcements, but now Bunny has arrived. Now he stims in, takes out the final 2 Stalkers, and there's nothing left here. There's 1 Disruptor, there's 2 Zealots. Natural goes down. Bunny has done it. He has broken Harstem. Has been broken. Oh, Jesus. Very juicy Nova, but it's too late. Like, it's too little too late. There's a nice connection towards the end. Technically, Harstem, he did expand, so we can recall over to keep mining. Yeah, but GG gets called. GG gets called. Harstem has been broken, and Bunny will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Bunny. He will claim the series. Again, it was a shaky start for Harstem to have a delayed expansion. Not just that, but delayed scouting as well. Unfortunately, Harstem, he had no sentry for hallucinations, he had no adepts for shades, and he was being very conservative with his stalkers because of the opener. He kept his stalkers at home, scouting for proxies and checking for any kind of harassing reapers, harassing hellions. So because of that, he had very little information to work with. Very, very little information. By the time Harstem scouted the all-in, it was already coming, right? It was already coming his way. And remember, Harstem, he chose to go for the Bay instead of early Zealots. Early charge is a much safer approach, but he chose to go for the Bay, chose to go for Disruptors. And there were a couple of nice Novas, but early on especially, they were not really connecting. They were not quite worth it. They didn't really help in that defense, and it was more ideal for Bunny. It was all lining up. GG. GG, well played with that. Bunny does claim the series, does advance on to the grand finals, and now we have our 2 finalists. It's going to be best of 5. Best of 5 between Bunny and ShoWTimE. Let's go. Un momento. Un momento. Bam, beautiful. Okay, so it's going to be a best of 5. Best of 5 series here between ShoWTimE and Bunny. Let's go. This game 1 is going to be on Title Citadel. ShoWTimE, of course, being a bit of a step above, of course, Harstem, so he's going to be a stronger threat, and we'll see how Bunny will adjust his approach. In my mind, Bunny is still a hyper-aggressive player, and we do still expect to see all-ins here, but how do we change our approach loading back into Title Citadel? Let's go. Here we go. He's hopping in, if you will. Aha, I see what you did there. Este Bunny. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Falcons. It is a Bunny. Here we go. As we are back on title Citadel. If you recall, game 1 between Harstem and Bunny was also on title, and it was a bit of a closer and more clutch back and forth. If you remember, that was when Harstem was building up into a heavier Immortal count, a heavier Immortal charged out Archon based composition, and things were looking decent for Harstem when he was pushing his way up this ramp, when he was pushing towards the natural, but then he overextended, he kept pushing forward, further in towards a third base, he overextended, he lost his Immortals, his Archons, he lost everything. That was the moment where everything swung in favor of Bunny instead. Meanwhile, I noticed this SCV. I see you. Okay, we have one ranks back at home. Bunny, he does skirt around the edge of the map, and he's going for the eBay block. Now, we did speak on this last game. Typically, you need to scout this early, and if you scout it early, you have to react early on as well. If you fail to do so, which ShoWTimE is, he does not scout the natural, it is better, it is more efficient to expand at the unnatural location instead, just because of how delayed the natural is going to be. So ShoWTimE, yep, he confirms that it's too late to react. It's too late to react, too late to respond, and now he's going for the third location. Again, this is a very similar position that Harstem was in, but Harstem, he chose to fight, if you recall. He chose to go for the late reaction instead with the later natural. But it makes a little bit more sense for Harstem to make that decision just because it was on Tourmaline, and Tourmaline heavily favors all-ins, which we just saw. But at the same time, Harstem, he had scattered early. It was just a late reaction. It's a late reaction here by Harstem. Here, ShoWTimE reacts fast enough, gets his base. Now, just kind of on that, when you're in this kind of position, this is where Bunny can choose to go for a faster factory. Yep, there it is, faster factory is on the way, and here he can commit into Reaper Hellion and try to abuse the fact that ShoWTimE is in two really awkward positions here. Like ShoWTimE trying to defend your natural and your main base when forced to expand at the third location is very difficult. So safety shield batteries on the way. Bunny can try to abuse this. As he is getting his second Reaper. From here, getting his Hellions as well. And he's banking up. Now, ShoWTimE, he will have the tools to defend. He will have his sentry, ideally for the force fields here on the ramp. So he can force field the ramp and set up. Here comes the initial hallucination. And hopefully he will scout the Reaper Hellion. Hallucination moves out. Gets eyes on one of the Reapers. And yeah, he spots a commitment. He sees the Reaper Hellion, he knows. Sees more Hellions popping out. His army is getting in position. Sentries here at the ramp. So mentally he's prepared. His Bunny does skirt around the edge, making his way towards the main. Stalkers are ready. ShoWTimE does react in time. There we go, nice force field. Looks at one of the Hellions. Hellion goes down, and ShoWTimE is holding. So far, so good. Bunny, he rotates over towards the natural. But the Stalker defense. So nicely done. So far, a clean defense here by ShoWTimE. Doesn't lose a single probe. Doesn't lose anything. So clean defense. Bunny being forced back. Behind this Bunny, he went for a 1-1-1, a Widowmine drop into bio follow-up, standard follow-up, into a macro game. Into the mid game. So no crazy all-ins or anything like that. It's going to be up to Bunny to distract. Hooks in, pulls away. Drop is getting ready on the right-hand side. And he's going for the third, actually. Okay. Does unload. Yeah, he unloads. The boys are being pulled into the probes or into the mines. Oh. 2 shots go off, and Bunny saves 1 Widow Mine. Does save 1. So far, a better trade for Bunny. Oh, okay. Loads up everything, actually. Heads towards the main. Blink is still not yet done. And Bunny, he commits. Yeah, boosts into the main base. Remember, there's still no blink. Gets into the mineral line. Widowmine does borrow. Heads straight for the probes. Oof. Gets one probe so far. Hellion volleys are popping off. Yeah, the Hellion shots are brutal, getting to 5, 6 probes. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, 6, 7 probes go down. And the medevac gets away. Oh! Ooh, I spoke too soon. Blink is done. The medevac doesn't get away, but still nice damage in the main base. Bearing in mind the Reaper Hellion does not scale well into the mid game, so we had to make use of it. Getting 7 probes is a great use of that Reaper Hellion. That Bunny in a decent position. Behind this, building up to stim, combat shields, his bio tank. Ooh, as Bunny will bleed out these Marines. And Marines are thrown away. There's no bunker here on the low ground. We do see ShoWTimE finding some damage. It does find a way in. Bunker goes down. And this is helping making up for the dead workers. ShoWTimE, he lost 7 pros, but hey, he does get a bunker, does get 4 Marines. Not bad. So we have a bit of a back and forth. Ooh, ShoWTimE, he does rally into the scan. Does it run out? It does. Forcing another scan. Ooh, it doesn't have one. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, no scan. No scan available. Oh my god. We pull the boys? Okay, 2 base all in, but a very unorthodox 2 base all in. It's hitting at a really weird time. At a really weird time, and the Observer's out of position. The Observer was here on the right hand side. Bunny knows. ShoWTimE sees nothing. Uh-oh. Yeah, ShoWTimE, he does not see the boys being pulled. Charge is going to finish. And he has plenty of Zealots. Again, this is just a really awkward all-in, and I'm not entirely convinced this will hit with +1. But there are plenty of charge lots ready. And force fields, they lock down some of the bio. Bunny trying to keep it up the ramp. Ooh, brutal mine connections. And Widow and Zoo connect. Bunny wedging himself in. Pushing into the natural. The tanks are a little bit far behind. He wants to go for the kill. He wants that natural base. Tanks getting within range of the gateways. And the Colossus is almost out. Like, unlike Harstem, ShoWTimE has a much stronger defense here. He has a lot more to work with. There's only 1 tank instead of 5. The SimCity does make things awkward, for sure. It's going to be awkward. As these bunkers, they do work against the Zealots. Oh! And mines, they connect. Zealots go down. And ShoWTimE, he can't break this, not yet. Just waiting for more Zealots. Yeah, waiting for more charge lots. Colossus gets a couple of swipes off. Catching out some marauders as well. And ShoWTimE, he should have enough here. He's holding onto his natural. He's about to have a second Colossus. And now he's going for the rover. If the rover was the initial target, then maybe Bunny could have pulled this off. Those were nice mine connections, but the tank goes down. Yeah, down goes the tank. Bunny's running out of steam. He's running out of bio. Again, ShoWTimE was just much better prepared. And the all-in has failed. The all-in at this point has failed. Again, if ShoWTimE had delayed his charge, for example, if he had gone for delayed charge, if he had gone for a faster bay instead, then maybe. But even then, it was just such a weird all-in at a Bunny. It's very unorthodox. But ShoWTimE will clean this up. Sure, he lost a couple of gateways, but that's fine. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, this was a really weird all-in by Bunny. It was almost it almost felt like it was off the cuff just because he knew the observer was out of position. So he just pulled the boys. He moved out. He had 4 Widow Mines. He had 1 tank, a good amount of bio, hit with +1. It was a decent timing attack, but again, as time went on, it was getting better and better for ShoWTimE. He had charge. He had more and more Colossi. Sure, he lost gateways, but another really important part, actually, imagine a world if that robot was at the natural. Remember, the robot of ShoWTimE was not at the natural, it was at the 3rd base instead. Or I guess technically the natural, the 2nd base it was made. But the robot was safe. If that had been targeted down early, and if only 1 Colossus had spawned in, then maybe this works. Like, maybe this does work, and maybe Bunny does actually break his opponents. But thankfully for ShoWTimE, the robot was safe, the robot was secure, and he continued to make Colossus. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. And funnily enough, the fact that ShoWTimE was forced to expand at that 3rd location is what saved the robo. Like, that's the reason why the robo was at the 3rd base, not at the natural. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss leading the series 1-0. Representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. We go. But again, it's a lot more normal and a lot more standard for the robot to be here at the wall, at the natural, which is why once Bunny broke up into that natural base, that should be the kill move to get on top of the tech. But the tech wasn't there. Right? The tech wasn't there. The tech was over at the 3rd location instead. Tech was safe, so the all-in just was achieving less. Achieving less damage. But here we go. We're getting into game 2. So far, Bunny once again going for double gas. I believe for the first time this series. But double gas opener, going for a faster factory. Going for a much more tech-heavy start, and this time, no eBay block. Block on the eBay. As our players are opening up. We're opening up. From here again, Bunny with that faster factory can go into Reactor to Reaper Hellion, or can go into Reaper Hellion, can go into faster Cyclone play. Doesn't go for a 1-base all-in, does expand. Ooh, as Bunny was hunting down that probe, it fails to do so. The probe was hugging the edge of the map, hugging the wall, and goes back in for a rescout. And this probe should confirm that there is a base. Yes, so ShoWTimE confirms the base. He also confirms the timing of the CC, so he knows it was a later command center. ShoWTimE knows it was a faster factory. So good. He gets the first shot off as well. He was hiding in the tall grass. Nice moves here by ShoWTimE. Catching out the Reaper, getting the scout off. Ooh, as ShoWTimE pushes up the ramp and does overextend. And he'll lose a Stalker in the process. Forced to recall back home. Free damage here on the Stalker. Yeah, just ShoWTimE getting a little bit too excited. Getting too excited. Behind this, we have our follow-up. Starport, extra Raxes. Bunny moves out with his Reaper Hellion. There's less of a chance this really gets much more done, though. ShoWTimE is ready. He's ready at the natural. And how many gateways do we have? Okay, so we have 3 gates in the main. Oh my god. 3 gates in the main, 1 gate at the natural. We have 4 gate blink out of ShoWTimE. Okay, hyper aggression out of our Protoss. The turns have tabled. Game 1, we saw Bunny go for the 2 base all in. Game 2, we have ShoWTimE going for 4 gate blink. Essentially what's happening here is that ShoWTimE is laying his third. Late third base in favor of extra gateways, in favor of extra stalkers, and in favor of what should be aggression. Yep, here we go. Here comes the Warp Prism to reinforce and to warp in across the map. So ShoWTimE is going to double down. It's doubling down. Meanwhile, Bunny dropping into the natural. ShoWTimE is ready. And ShoWTimE is in position. My shot goes up. And they're getting 1. They're getting 1, 2 probe kills. A nice cleanup here by ShoWTimE. The medevac at least gets away. But here comes ShoWTimE. Here comes the counterattack. And Bunny, did he get eyes on the gateways? He didn't see the gateway counts, but I believe he checked on the right-hand side with the Reaper Hellion, and he checked for the 3rd location, the 3rd timing. There was no 3rd. So Bunny, he should be aware. He's got a bunker. Oh, delay tanks. Yeah, he chose not to go for tank production. Bold move here by Bunny. ShoWTimE is moving out. Drop into the mineral line. Without any tanks, it's going to be a brutal hold here for Bunny. I don't know if he can. And picks off the SCVs. Bunker should go down. 1 more volley. Oh my god, he gets it. He does get it. There's no stim either, and Bunny should just be bullied here. He's getting bullied back. He's bleeding out more SCVs. Reaper Hellion does get some damage across the map, though. And Bunny's holding. Okay. Does cost him 10 SCVs, and we just still keep warping in. We just keep warping in. Stalkers are still getting very low. Ooh, 1 stalker goes down. Gets 1, 2, 3 stalkers. ShoWTimE bleeding out a lot of units here. Ay, ay, ay. Remember, this is out without stim, by the way. This is pre-stim. As stim is now finishing up, and there are so many marauders. Yeah, stims forward. He stims forward. He bullies back ShoWTimE. And again, ShoWTimE lost far too much here. He should have broken the natural. He failed to do so. Oh. Failed to break the natural. Bunny, he breaks out. Punishes ShoWTimE. And remember, ShoWTimE's 3rd base is late. Late 3rd, late saturation. This had to do more damage. ShoWTimE losing 13 stalkers. And here comes a counterattack. Oh boy, and ShoWTimE, he is in danger here. He's in so much danger. He fans out his probes. Will scout the drop. Scouts the main army. He's got his force fields ready. And he does zone away some of those marauders. Oh, never mind, we just keep on pushing in. Jesus. He just stims in. There's no shield batteries ready. Not yet. Does go for the first battery. You can see Bunny just rallying across the map at this point. And he knows he's done it. And it takes down the Zealot, getting on top of the Stalkers once again. Ooh. My shot goes off. Picking up more Stalkers. 3, 4. Oh god, you can see how quickly those Stalkers go down. Yeah, sniping every single Stalker here. And there's nothing left. We have 1 Zealot warping in. 3 Zealots. And the Zealots, they can trade well against Marauders. ShoWTimE is barely holding on with the bare minimum. With 2 Zealots and 2 Stalkers. Bunny still rallying. Bunny knows how close he is. He's so close. Casito, baby, casito. Floating over his 3rd. Again, the rally is just so long here on the Old Republic. It's a much longer rally. Oh, ShoWTimE almost gets caught. Almost gets caught out. Bunny still has momentum. ShoWTimE pulling back. Pulling back to his natural. Main army gets spotted. Nice cancellation. And here comes that mind drop. ShoWTimE, does he notice? Oh, he does. Oh no! Oh, he stacks. He does stack up. 5 probes go down. Panic out of ShoWTimE. Yeah, panic defense. Oh my god. The mind shots are brutal. Catching out the zealots. All the zealots go down. The stalkers, they kind of hold their own. Just gotta get the hell out of here. And ShoWTimE just wants to expand, but he just cannot maintain his 4th. It's not gonna happen. It's not happening. Oof. Nice dodge. Nice dodge, but that also means the blink is on cooldown. Nor does they focus them down. Getting 1, getting 2 stalkers. Yeah, 3. All 3 stalkers are down. GG gets called, and Bunny, he has done it. He breaks ShoWTimE, and Bunny ties up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played in a very intense game here where initially ShoWTimE had momentum. Initially ShoWTimE, he shut down the Widow Mines, he went for the 4-gate blink, he went for the counterattack, he broke the bunker, and remember, he was attacking and looking to break that natural pre-blink, sorry, pre-stim is what I meant to say, before stim would finish. But ShoWTimE overextended. He did have a lot of stalkers, but they were all very low, and he kept pushing up the ramp into Marauders, and he lost everything. He lost 13 stalkers in that early game. So again, just misjudging the situation and just being overly aggressive. ShoWTimE was punished, and Bunny took it from there. Bunny did take it from there. GG, well played. Whew, but we do have a back and forth. We have a back and forth. We do have a tied up series, and we'll see who takes the lead in the best of 5. Let's go. Going to be loading into Tourmaline. But it was really cool to see a different shade of ShoWTimE, a much more aggressive ShoWTimE here in game 2. But again, just overly aggressive, again, just kind of misjudging the situation, misjudging the game state or the strength of all those Marauders. And did lose too much too quickly. But let's go. Now we're getting into game 3 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the German Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Bunny. Hello. As Bunny does move out, rallying here on the right-hand side, avoiding the main scouting path, and from here he can go for another eBay block. Rax is back at home. This is very reminiscent to what Bunny went for against Harstem, if you recall. Where he did go for the block against Harstem and then followed up with the 2-base all-in. ShoWTimE, first probe moves out, and he doesn't move down with a second. Uh-oh. And here comes the eBay. Yeah, the engineering bay has begun. ShoWTimE, he will fail to scout. And as ShoWTimE is forced to take the unnatural natural, it's going to be a brutal defense here. We tried to speak about this in the last game, in game 1. Specifically on Tourmaline, the rush distance by ground is very short. So rallying and all-ins, they hit even harder on Tourmaline. And yep, here it comes. ShoWTimE is forced to expand at the 3rd location. The unnatural natural. And again, we're imagining the Bunny is going to commit. Does get the probe low. Bunny cancels. Pulls away. And so he's going for his reactor. So building up into Hellions. We'll see if ShoWTimE can defend. I'm assuming this will be for an add-on swap. So there's a reacted Hellion. have Hellions being reactored out, so getting up to 2, now getting up to 4, so 4 Hellions, and behind this, you see what I see? Second Rax. Second Rax is on the way, so big delay in the starport. The likelihood of this being a 2-base all-in now is much higher. Much, much higher. As Bunny's rushing into Stim. He's rushing into Stim, rushing into Bio. And he may even just go for another Rax, a third Rax, I mean. When it comes to his Hellions, remember, it takes 3 Hellions to one-shot a probe. So 4 Hellions is more than enough. We'll see if we can get in. He's going for the main. He's going for the main base. No sentry, no sentry, no force field. Not this time. Hellions, they bust in. 3 Hellions, they make their way into the mineral line, and probes are going to get roasted. They're lighting up. No! Oh my god. Volley goes off, catching out 5. 5 probes go down. No, he comes back too soon. Yeah, it comes back too soon. Another volley goes off, and that could have been so much worse. 7 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. 7 probe kills. ShoWTimE falls behind economically, and behind this, Stim is on the way. That is what, a third Rax. We have confirmation, 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in. If you remember, we had the same setup against Harstem, where Bunny moved out with 5 tanks, or technically moved out with 3 tanks, but he reinforced with another 2. So, Bio Tank Bunker Rush. We have the setup here for Bunny. It's going to be on ShoWTimE to try to catch wind of what's going on. Oh. So he does see the Marines. So where are the tank? ShoWTimE. Oh, this is fun. Okay, we have a DT follow-up. This is a very fun way to deal with 2-base all-ins. Why is that? Well, when you're a Terran player going for a 2-base all-in, you're muling your heart out. Why is that? Because you have limited SCVs, right? You have a very limited economy, so muling is important to facilitate for an all-in. So going for DTs, there's a higher chance that the Terran player has no scan, right? They have no scan. So this is intentional here by ShoWTimE. Trying to hard counter, trying to punish a 2-base all-in. Meanwhile, Bunny, he is adapting. This is not the same build. This is not the same build we saw against Harstem. He actually does make a starport. The arrival of a starport does mean that there's a higher chance that Bunny macros, and that Bunny gets a 3rd CC. So we'll see. We'll see if he pulls the boys or not. It isn't just that he's going for the starport and going for the add-on swap into medevac production, but also an eBay for +1. Like, going for a +1 timing is going to be much, much later. So again, higher chance that Bunny macros. +1 has begun. Medevacs are on the way. ShoWTimE is getting ready for a proxy gateway, proxy warping location. And Bunny just kind of playing with expectations here. Yo, we have Shadow Stride. Okay. Going into Blink DTs. But again, I'm not convinced that Bunny's going to pull the boys with this. Not anymore. We'll see. He moves out. As he moves out, DTs move in. ShoWTimE going for the backstab. 1 into the natural. Quick reaction out of Bunny. Yeah, very quick. He does have a scan. And he does catch both. Yeah, very value scan here, or high value scan. He does catch both DTs. Turret's now on the way. Gets another gas geyser, and we're expecting a 3rd command center. So that's what you got. ShoWTimE going for the ninja. ShoWTimE's going for the ninja base. Okay. Yo. herO, is that you? What's like what's going on? ShoWTimE is having fun. He's having fun. Did he cancel? No, okay. So Blink DTs are still on the way. Getting his ninja base. Meanwhile, we do pull the boys. Delayed 2-base all-in here by Bunny. He still goes for it. He still does go for the all-in. ShoWTimE going for the backstab. He will confirm that there's nothing at home to defend. But if he can force a lift on this CC, that's going to be less scans. True. Pushing into the main. There's a lift. He's pushing further into the main base. Remember, DT is going to be a factor here. He's making a turret. Turret's on the way. He's making a turret at the same time. ShoWTimE trying to push off the ramp. He's supply block though. Oh, now is not the time. Brutal supply block. He can't warp in DTs. Gateways, they're being depowered as well. He's running out more gateways here, bottom right. And gateways are falling. Yeah, gateways are falling. DTs now warping in. Bunny forced to evacuate. And the CCs are in the air. They're in the air. No scans currently available. But there is one turret. There's that one turret. CCs, they're floating over. There we go. We have another turret that's being made. But Bunny has no more money. He has no money left. He's got his 2 turrets. The command centers, they can always find a place to land for a clutch scan. Oh. ShoWTimE does catch a marauder. ShoWTimE going for another ninja base. And Bunny, he's not aware. He's not aware of the fringe bases. He's not aware of the fringe locations. He's now moving out. Now, if he can meet up with this CC, then he'll have his scans available to him. Oh, gets a medevac. Not quite. Quick reaction out of Bunny. He pulls away. Does pull away. DT does waddle in. We need that scan. And free damage in the army. Gets 1 SCV. Scan is coming in. There it is. Yeah, scan from the CC in the main. And he has mining. Oof, he has mining. He has an economy. Which means he can afford more turrets. And we're in a really weird location. So Bunny, he's on a 1 base economy. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is also on a 1 base economy. Oh, he chases DT. Bunny's out of position. ShoWTimE going for the backstab. Free tank. Free tank goes down. Bunny, ay. Caught completely out of position. Again, just overreacting to the DT, but he does scan the base. Uh-oh. Scans the expansion. The armies, they pass by each other. We're going for the base trade. Bunny gets a mineral line. ShoWTimE kills the CC. There's 1 CC left, and we also scout top left. Bunny, he's aware top left. Now, what's scary is that ShoWTimE, he actually doesn't have enough money currently for another Nexus. He's mining, true. He's mining here with his probes. So he might get enough money for it. He should be able to. He's going for the CC. Oh no, he's going for the CC! Late reaction, Bunny. He has to get out of here, and the CC might just catch fire. Yeah, it's going to catch fire. He's not going to get away. Oof. That CC will burn down. It will just die, actually. And that means no scans. How many DTs? 0. Oh, never mind. There's no Dark Shrine. There's no Dark Shrine, so scans are not as important anymore. There's no DTs left. Imagine if he kept 1 DT alive. 1 Dark Templar. Units. Okay, so this is what we have. We have 16 Zealots. 16 Zealots, 10 Stalkers. Bunny still has buildings alive, top left. And remember, ShoWTimE, okay, he has built enough. He's gathered enough resources, he can afford a Nexus. ShoWTimE, he throws one down in his main. In a head-on fight, I have to favor Bunny. But ShoWTimE can still potentially hunt down those buildings. We'll see. Or at least get a Stargate. Bunny, what you see is what you get. Yeah, he stims in. We have the flank that's late here for ShoWTimE. Yeah, late flank. He fights with half his army. Ay. Best case scenario for Bunny. Because Bunny does punish those Stalkers. Making use of the terrain as well. And I feel like ShoWTimE shouldn't be here. Yeah, he shouldn't be engaging like this. As ShoWTimE will lose everything. Every Zealot goes down. Now the Stalkers as well. Yeah, he's going to lose everything. GG gets called. And Bunny, he will take the series, or he will take a lead in the series 2-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. I'm so best of 3 minded. I'm so but GG, well played. Bunny, he does take a lead in the series. Again, a very, very intense game here. Could have gone either way, to be honest, when it came to the base trade. As I mentioned before, both CCs went down. If only there was 1 Dark Templar hidden somewhere on the map, that could have been like a way for ShoWTimE to have won that game. As I mentioned before, ShoWTimE, he had some money, he had another base, but ShoWTimE, he needed time to get a Stargate, right? He needed a Stargate to hunt down those buildings. Without it, he could not actually win that game. And he also chose to engage. And it was just a really rough engage, unfortunately, at the very end of the game, where Bunny was able to catch out the Stalkers before the second army came in. So ShoWTimE was fighting with half his army at once, or at a time, and he got shut down. He was shut down. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be going into game number 4. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. And again, a crazy all-in there from Bunny as well. A very delayed all-in, going for the starports, going into additional SCV production, and hitting much later instead. But let's go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Protoss player, the German Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Let's go. Let's go. But again, very tense, very close, very clutch. That could have gone either way for either player. As we now load into a much larger map. The map will welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is known for longer macro games. Bunny, though, does open up double gas. Interesting. Double gas opener, faster factory, a much more tech-heavy and a much more aggressive start. Okay. I mean, Bunny has been very fond of Reaper Hellion aggression. We're assuming that's going to happen here as well. But we'll see. Ooh. Imagine if ShoWTimE remade this Dark Shrine on time. Yeah, whether it's remaking the Dark Shrine, true, that's another option, right? Like remaking the Dark Shrine, or just warping in a DT, or keeping one like preserved throughout the game. Even hunting down those final buildings, right? Like hunting down the buildings top left. There's a world where maybe he even wins by elimination if he was able to bring them down before they floated into the dead space. But regardless, for now we do have our initial setup. Reactor Reaper Hellion, a very aggressive start here. Once again, the goal is economic damage. The goal is to bust into a mineral line and to wreak havoc. It's a very committed opener, and if this fails to get damage done, then it's going to be a rough start for Bunny, as Bunny is delaying his CC in favor of this. So again, delayed command center. Reaper Hellion is amassing. ShoWTimE is going for a later scout. No probe scout, actually. Okay, no probe scouts. Instead, going for the hallucination. Does confirm the opener. He sees. ShoWTimE sees. ShoWTimE knows. He's trying to wall off. He's got his first gateway. No force field, though. But does defend. So far, so good. He does hold on. ShoWTimE throwing down, or getting up to 3 gates. 3-gate blink. Well, Bunny's going for his own 1-1-1. So it looks like Reaper Hellion into Wood Mine drop. KDA charge does connect. Where's the force field? Ooh, no force field. Yeah, no force field. The Reapers, they bust into the main. How many probes will go down? So far, not many. It's 1, 2, 3. Takes down 3 probes and does get the sentry as well. Oh, he's not done. Oh god, this is getting out of hand here. 6 probe kills. Yeah, 6 probes go down, getting up to almost 7. 6 probes and a sentry. Better start here for Bunny. And he's not done, because here come the mine drops. Medevac does boost out. ShoWTimE attempting to intercept. Oh, and he is lined up for it. Okay. Nice spread, nice setup. And it doesn't kill the medevac, but he does deny. He does deny the drop. Bunny's going for a much more standard follow-up, this time going to Ravens for the first time this series. So what am I dropping to Ravens? Into his mid-game. We've yet to see a macro game between Bunny and ShoWTimE. True, that hasn't happened yet. This could be it, though. Can we get there? Blink is not done. ShoWTimE pushing into the natural. You can just blink past. Oh, doesn't get an SCV. Jesus. Bleeds out a Stalker as well. Este Bunny. Okay, one SCV for Stalker. Better trade for Bunny. Gets another worker. Does get another. Bunny moves out with another drop. ShoWTimE building up into his gateway composition, so Blink Stalker into charge slots, typically into Storm, but we could see Colossus. Swift managed to drop into the main. ShoWTimE does react. He reacts well, he pulls away. Oh, spoke too soon as he will lose one of the Stalkers. But only one. Raven's also moving in, but again, we're building up into the mid game, right? 3 base saturation, extra gateways, +1, blink, a charge. Here comes the Robo, so again, it should be towards Colossus. The question becomes, does Bunny pull the boys? We mentioned at the start of the series, actually, we mentioned at the start of Bunny versus Harstem, how Bunny is very fond of 2 base all-ins, but there it is for the first time. We have a 3rd CC. He's macroing. He's macroing up. Getting a 3rd CC. He moves out. As he moves out, a ShoWTimE moves in. Catching 2 Marauders, very nice. 2 Marauders, 2 Marines. Even getting a meta. Oh, not quite. Almost. Casito. But again, nice big also by ShoWTimE. Bunny is trying to be active. ShoWTimE has been on it though. Oof. These auto types have been so annoying. Or just blindly checking for observers. Remember, it was a delayed robo. The first observer has just now hit the field, and now we have the Bay on the way for Colossus. And again, for the first time this series, for the first time here in the finals, we're able to embrace a longer game. From here, ShoWTimE should be working towards a 4th expansion, towards a gateway composition with Colossus. Meanwhile, Bunny should be building up back at home. Now, coming into a longer game, I'm going to be favoring ShoWTimE. I'm getting there, though. Bunny is in a slightly better position. ShoWTime's 4th base is a little bit late. Remember, ShoWTimE did lose a lot of probes already. 17 probes going down this game. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh, doesn't notice. Here, doesn't notice. Taking a lot of hits to the face. ShoWTimE was distracted. Yeah, late reactions. And again, Bunny's just had the better early game so far. Oh, base trade? As Bunny moves out, ShoWTimE is moving in. The armies, they pass by each other, and we might just commit to a base trade here. I feel like it's too late to turn around for anyone. Recall's on cooldown. Remember, ShoWTimE, we just recalled his Stalkers earlier. Yep, ShoWTimE commits. So does Bunny. There's a cancellation on the 4th base. ShoWTimE, it's a 3rd. I just wanted a macro game. I just want to get into the mid-game, Fabi, but it's not going to happen. ShoWTimE committing to the natural. Bunker's ready, though. Mine shot's going off. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Bunny trying to make a stand, and it looks like he will be able to. I say that the Zells are barely breaking through. But what about the main army of the Terran? There's only one Colossus. Nice force fields. Force fields, they buy some time. Tanks are getting within range of the Robo. Yeah, tanks, they bully back the army. And Bunny is doing more critical damage. He depowers one of the Robos. He's within range of the other. Both these Robos should go down. And ShoWTimE is forced to recall. Oh, he's forced to recall back home. The Robo goes down. Takes down the Robo. Colossus does commit in. Tanks, they focus fire the Colossus. One more volley. He gets it. Yeah, one more volley. Colossus goes down. Marines, they just stem in. And Bunny, he breaks ShoWTimE. Just barely. GG gets called. ShoWTimE is broken. And Bunny, he will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Bunny as he does claim the series. Again, a very intense back and forth here. I was hoping, and it was looking like this final game was going to lead into the mid game, up to 3-4 base saturation, looking to max out armies. Nah. Both armies, they miss each other. They did pass each other here in the night, and instead we had the base trade instead. But it was a stronger base trade from Bunny. As we mentioned, as we pointed out, there was almost nothing to defend back at home. Meanwhile, Bunny, he had his rally, he had his production, his reinforcements ready at the natural, so he was able to pose a stronger defense, able to deal with most of the zealots, and in the end, ShoWTimE, he lost momentum. He could not keep pushing in. He was forced to recall instead, and the recall just wasn't worth it. We saw that Bunny just had far too much across the map. Those tanks, they focused on the Robos, they focused on the Colossus. It was only one Colossus, and it was the thing targeted down. GG. GG, well played. Bunny comes out on top, and congratulations, as this is the very first WardiTV Monday win for Bunny. The very first one. GG, well played, congratulations. Bunny claiming his first win here in the WardiTV Monday, and shout out to ShoWTimE for making it here to the finals. Remember, ShoWTimE took down the favorite player, herO. herO did go down to ShoWTimE, and I'll be honest, I do think that herO would have posed a greater threat to Bunny in the finals, but never had a chance. Never had a chance. ShoWTimE able to knock him down instead. And again, like, I don't blame ShoWTimE for having a harder time against Bunny. Bunny is not the most orthodox of players. We introduced him as a very aggressive player, and we saw that against Harstem and against ShoWTimE. A lot of all-ins and very little macro play. So I felt like ShoWTimE was a little bit uncomfortable against this more aggressive Terran player. A little bit uncomfortable. ShoWTimE, he just wanted to macro, baby. Yeah. Just wanted to macro. GG. GG, well played. But again, congratulations here to Bunny. GG, well played. Shout out to ShoWTimE. And with that, we are going to be wrapping up our morning broadcast. A little bit of a shorter broadcast, but we had a lot of 2-0s. We had a 3-1 here in the finals, but we had 2 O's in the semis and 2 O's in the quarterfinals as well. So a little bit of a shorter broadcast. And again, intentionally so, we are making our broadcast a little bit shorter in the coming weeks as we are recovering. Again, we've been very inactive in January. I do apologize for that. We've been casting a lot less. Even over the weekend, we typically do cast Home Story Cup, but we were not available. We were not able to be a part of that Home Story Cup broadcast. Do apologize. But we should be catching back up in the coming weeks. Here's our weekly schedule. This is actually last week's schedule, so this is not quite accurate. This is not quite accurate, but our next broadcast should be tomorrow at this time. We should be catching up with WardiTV Monday number 71. Wednesday should be Pickasaur Cup. Thursday should be Rongi Cup on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 3 days of Rongi Cup action. I also have confirmation as well. Initially, Rongi Cup was going to be an offline finals, but we did get an announcement recently from SE Boy that due to complications, they cannot actually make Rongi Cup an offline event, so it's all going to be online instead. We're going to be catching up with the quarterfinals and semifinals of Rongi Cup on Thursday and Friday via replays, and we should be able to cast the finals live on Saturday. It's been a while since we've had a live broadcast, but we should be live casting Rongi Cup on Saturday and also live casting Pickasaur Cup on Wednesday as well. Should be. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we should be having at least 1 cast a day. Usually we would have 2 casts a day, but as we mentioned, we just have been less available in recent times. For those who are curious, we've had a lot of medical issues with our pet bunnies. There's been a lot going on. We've posted a couple of updates on our Discord, and I even posted on Twitter about it as well. But it has been a very, very rough January. We're not out of the woods yet. Currently, Chi-Chi's recovering. Chi-Chi, she's one of my pet bunnies. She's recovering from retirement operation, and as a result, we're giving her like medication on a daily basis, monitoring her, making sure she's eating, making sure everything's good, spending time with her as well, because she is like isolated while she recovers, to make sure nothing goes wrong. So spending a lot of time with her, and most likely there's going to be like another operation like in like a couple of weeks. Like after she recovers from the first one, there's most likely going to be another one as well. But we'll see. So yeah, there's been a lot going on, but otherwise thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for WardiTV Monday number 71. For number 71, we'll see you tomorrow for that. Otherwise, thanks for watching. You can help support us if you wish via Patreon, or you can even donate as well. And if you noticed, we do have a donation bar bottom left. If you're interested, you can support us there. Again, there's been a lot of vet bills related to what's been happening. I think we've spent like $4,000 on vet bills in the last couple of weeks. It's been insane, and most likely going to be spending more because of future operations. So yeah, it's been pretty intense. All the savings, all gunge, papi, all gunge. But you can help support us there if you wish. Otherwise, you can help support us via Patreon. All the money on Patreon goes towards our tournaments. It all goes towards tuning cups, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Sword Open as well. So you can support us via Patreon if you wish. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. And again, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft action as we get back into regular casting again. We're getting there. We are getting there. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Say, well, thank you, thank you. Take care, Tony. Take care. But who's live at the moment? Who is live? I see Dave Testa. I see Heaven is live. Upper Tree. Sal. Oh, we can give Sal some love. True. Este Sal. Xenodactyl is live. I don't think I've seen Xenodactyl streaming before. Infamous. We'll give him some love. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and stick around. We'll be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.
He's not very good.